Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. And on this topic, I wanted to talk to you guys about manifesting the narcissist into your lives and witchcraft. Manifesting the narcissist into your life and witchcraft. Witchcraft is something that is used when the narcissist usually comes into your life, and that's the fact that you're living in almost this dimension where you're thinking magical thinking, right? And you're hoping, you're praying to find someone like you. But then at the same time, you don't really know who you are completely. At least you think you do. You think you do. And sometimes you haven't even lived long enough, but you manifest the narcissist into your life. You go seeking, you start seeking. You start to try to create almost magic to meet someone, to connect with someone. We start to, do these spells, going online, going to certain places, that's not a place you're going to find someone who is a mate, right? But you're thinking maybe there'll be that one person, who's just like me. You just never know, right? Sometimes you might go to a church, right? And then you're so deep into this church that, you start seeing people are being set up. You start looking up to other couples and people that are getting together, and they're on the same mission, that you're in. You're like, oh, they believe in Jesus just like me, not knowing that the narcissist might be there too, right? And you go into the narcissist playground. Sometimes, you start to even do spell work. You're writing little notes, but then you're not really being specific. You're like, I want a guy that's rich. I want a girl that has a banging body. I want, someone who looks like a top model or Instagram model. I want someone who's attractive, who I'm attracted to. Someone who has money, who has a good job, who can provide, who can buy me things. You're putting all these things, tall, dark, handsome. And then you're like, oh yeah, let me not forget this one. He has to be nice, right? So in my last video, I did talk about during that podcast that, I believe I manifested the narcissist, because a lot of times when you don't really know what's going on or what's right for you, and, you want to find answers for yourself, or you think that you're in control, and you're telling yourself, hey, if I want something, I'm gonna go and get it, right? That can be our mentality sometimes. Sometimes we think to ourselves, we want a new life, a new life. People don't act like this, and you end up with worse narcissists. I do find something beautiful. I do find something beautiful about people who connect with each other in such a way where it just seems so loving, so authentic, having uncomfortable conversations. Speaking of, what the future will be like if anything happens, the loyalty, the respect's always going to be there, and people who really are about their word and going through trials and tribulations and making it out of that situation where the devil was attacking through Jezebel spirits, through narcissists, and two people were able to conquer the evil that came in between them. And during facing that evil, being able to experience life around them as life is changing, and being able to look back and talk about these things and remember the music, remember how things used to look, remember the memories. Isn't it a beautiful thing to be able to remember beautiful memories with someone, even the bad? And times start to change, years start to go, and the love might be not the same for some time. Sometimes it could be times where there's only loyalty there, respect there, but that love thrill might be gone, and challenges, face you, and you move through those things together, because when one person is weak, the other one is strong, and when the other one is strong, the other one might be weak, but you still have each other, and you're stronger together. And to be able to share that with the next generation, what you're leaving behind, a better version of yourselves, and being able to keep moving forward, right, is something that I feel is very rare. Being able to just simply be open about feelings, about, evolving, changing, being able to see someone happy, to be able to make that ultimate sacrifice. I see people like that around me, just as toxic people, right? And what I've realized is that the most strongest love that has lasted the longest is from those who grew up around the same time zones. They went through certain things around those time zones. Sometimes they didn't even really believe that they would be in love with one another. They were just living their lives, passing paths. The respect is there, but it's earned. It's earned with one another, and both parties are willing to earn those things. And like I said, talk about things that are uncomfortable. And a lot of times those good relationships that I've seen have been with people who grew up around the same time zone. And why do I bring this up? Right? Sometimes when you're dealing with a narcissist, they grew up maybe in a different time zone. Maybe they're a decade older than you, or you went after someone because they were older and you thought to yourself, hey, they're more mature, or these, you have a perception of what they are like. But they had a whole nother life, meaning that sometimes around the same age that you're in, around that age, they did a lot of things to people. And then they keep compensating like vultures, using up energy. It's not real love, it's energy, because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel younger. You're fueling them. And a lot of times narcissists, I don't mean with everyone, right? But narcissists, they believe just by being older than you and having a lot of tricks under their sleeve, they feel like up front, before even getting to really know you, they already feel like they can dominate you. They already make a plan for you. They make up plans for you. Sometimes you get with people in your, in a time zone where they might be, someone you grew up with who's your age, but you weren't supposed to be with them. So sometimes that narcissist is manifested at a very young age, and then you grow up with these type of people. So you could have came from a good family, and then you left your home at a young age for the narcissist, and your life changed. So in my experience, I felt like the narcissist was studying me, studying what life for me was like while I studied him, and when I studied him, I felt like I was going to the past. So the narcissist is someone who, you know, they know that the game is always going to be the same, but there's always going to be changes, and that's why they study you. This could be a thrilling thing, because you feel like you found your soulmate, but in actuality, you found a narcissist who is almost time traveling through the future, and they're repeating cycles over and over again. And when they meet you, they almost feel like it's fate and that's what you deserve. Your life could have been a manifestation from your past, from your parents. So you could have carried a lot of hate towards certain people, and now certain things are manifesting so that you can understand the pain of others. When you manifest a narcissist, they tend to leave you stuck in time. So they evolve and you stay behind. To the narcissist, they don't want to live a normal life, a regular life. They don't want to grow old, have kids, raise them. They want to be able to live a different type of life that they weren't designed to live. This is why, like, a lot of narcissists, people are attracted to them, because it's almost like, they're living in the future, but they're physically getting older, So a lot of times you manifest these type of time travelers. Sometimes, we've been outcasted ourselves from society or from, our families and friends, and this is what attracts the narcissist to you. So if you're in a place and time where you're in oblivion, a narcissist will manifest to guide you into another path. So, I do believe that sometimes you're on this path, you're on this journey, and the closer you get to your destiny, narcissists are just manifested into the things that you think you want. And majority of the time, you end up feeling like you wasted, time with someone you were never supposed to be with. When you think you found your soulmate, and in actuality, you manifested almost a demon, a time traveler, because you'll be, stuck living in the past, and the narcissist will be living in the future, and they're looking at you like, I'm not back there anymore. Why are you even still thinking about me? I don't even think about you. And, next thing you know, you're looking around you, and, most people fulfilled some type of destiny, some type of success, or certain things that they wanted and received because it happened naturally, while you manifested it and it backfired on you, And this is why a lot of times people end up working jobs and doing things that they don't want to do, and that's because chances are they manifested a narcissist, and now they're trying to get back to their destiny. They're trying to do something maybe even greater than that, or at least something that will satisfy them, So that's, the reality of manifesting a narcissist into your life. You're manifesting an alien, someone who is alien, to your universe. There's someone who's not supposed to be there. And, the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can hop back into your path. So you might not be able to change the past, but you'll be able to recreate, a new beginning. A lot of times the narcissist knows what's going to happen to you if you don't wake up. And once you know that, you can change that. So with manifesting a narcissist, I believe that a lot of times you manifest people and they come right up and they seem like they have everything that you checked on the list. And you might tell yourself, well, I think they are more mature. You just make that assumption because you have manifested someone, and you just make that assumption right away, thinking that because you did some spell work and manifested this person and kept telling yourself over and over again, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That thing, that narcissist, was a manifestation of yourself and how much power and energy you gave it. Because at some point, the narcissist did something that you might have not written down in that list, but it's something that, brought up a red flag or a funny feeling inside of you. And a lot of times you'll even ignore the narcissist, or you'll feel like they disrespected you in a way that no one else has, or stood you up. A lot of times, in the beginning, they're standing you up. You're wondering, why they're always appearing late, funny things going on with their phones. And we keep telling ourselves, this has to be the person. This has to be them. Everything else is on the list. I can't jump into conclusions. I don't really, maybe I'm just trying to see something wrong with them. And your intuition is telling you, no, this is wrong. You tried to manifest someone who is not supposed to be in your life. Someone who has been in your shoes already, and they did lots of things, and they're not willing to tell you the things that they went through and the things that they've done to others and the changes that they've made in their life, because in actuality there hasn't been any changes. So I believe that when someone is from a different time zone than you, and there's a lot more to catch up on, there's certain things that you should be aware of, and certain things that should also remain in the past. But when things reappear, a soulmate is going to tell you, because a lot of things from your past will reappear. And when these things come about, that's when, as a union, conversations need to be, talked about, and talked about in a way where it's like, okay, how are we going to solve this? But don't go behind someone's back and deal with certain problems, exes, and not say anything about it. And the next thing you know, they're having a full-blown relationship with an ex, right? So I feel like that's how a lot of us manifest the narcissist. It's that sometimes they're from a different time zone. Sometimes, they're not willing to talk about the things that keep reappearing in their life. They're putting things behind as a secret, and then another lie reappears, and then another lie reappears, and then another lie reappears. Another thing that I can talk about when it comes to manifesting the narcissist is that a lot of times when the relationship ends, you're hoping you can manifest someone because you're hurt that's the person you loved just basically, told you drop dead and I'm done and I've moved on and I've been moved on, and you look silly. They're talking to you like you're the one that looks silly for being unaware of what they were doing, right? A lot of times you're wanting to manifest someone. You might even start acting reckless. You might even start just meeting someone just because you don't want to feel alone, or you want to feel like you're trying to forget or be distracted or numb the pain or revenge them, or you're wondering, if I do this, will this upset them? Will they hoover me back if I do this? So you're almost trying to manifest someone, and a lot of times that next person that comes into your life, they're a worse narcissist than the one you've dealt with. Sometimes you might even do spell work and tell yourself, these are the things I want, and like I said, you start forgetting about, the relationship with God, the details, the conversation, the small details that actually impact the relationship in a big way, where you think these things aren't a big deal, but the details, the lies. A lot of times we don't include those things. We include superficial things, and then we kind of like throw, oh, and I hope he's nice in the end, type of thing. And then sometimes we manifest things and then we forget that we were trying to manifest those things. We're like, I'm not manifesting those things anymore. They're not happening. I've been trying and trying and trying, and you know what? It's not happening. I give up. I just give up. I'm done thinking about it. I don't even want it anymore. I don't even want these things anymore. And then next thing you know, Prince Charming comes knocking out on the door, and you're thinking to yourself, these are all the things I asked for, and I said I didn't even want them anymore, and here they are. And you don't even think twice. You just go full 100 with this person. You start future faking yourself into this relationship because you're like, everything checks the box. That's actually happened to me, where I meet someone, and I've said this many times, and then next thing I know, I'm catching up with an old friend, and the moment that me and her kind of gave each other a hug, I had like a premonition. And basically my premonition was saying that she knew him. And I thought to myself, I haven't seen this friend in years. And for me to tell her if she knows this person, it's kind of wacko. I thought I was going crazy because, my conscience voice told me, just ask her. My inner voice said, just ask her. And I said to myself, girl, you're crazy. But I still asked her because I'm bold like that. So I still asked her because I thought to myself, I'm a little cuckoo. What's going on? But I still asked her, and she basically said, if it was a setup, if I already knew that she was also talking to the same guy, and if I agreed to hanging out with her because of him, like she almost thought I was there and I was playing some twisted game and I was playing mind games. And what was so crazy is that I really wasn't. And what I also found out is that this friend who I caught up with, I ended up finding out that this friend had done certain things behind my back prior, that I didn't know about, but I ended up finding out, and I cut her off. And then before I cut her off, during that conversation I had with her, she told me that the guy that I was dating and she was dating, and that I stopped dating because I thought he was a narcissist, and I was starting to feel like, even though he was acting too perfect, I was like, no one is this perfect. Something's up. He was too suave. He was too slick. But something started to rub me off in a weird way about him. And I don't want to really go into details, but something rubbed me the wrong way. And I decided to cut them off because I almost felt like they were keeping tabs on me, and it was too soon for them to do that. And it was more about knowing my whereabouts, and the fact that I ended up bumping into someone who was dealing with him, and we weren't connecting with one another because of him, and she was shocked. That's when I realized that I had manifested him. I had manifested this person from the past because I literally was never supposed to bring them up into my prior existence. And I knew that going in, but something told me to go in, even though something told me to go in. And I'm glad I did listen to my intuition, because, I'm that type of person that will make plans and then like, I don't really want to do it, so I realized that's the reason why. And I felt like God was trying to tell me, that I was manifesting these things, and God was using me and talking to me, and God was the voice in my head to tell her, if she knew this person. And she started telling me that he was divorced. She started getting into details. And I told her, oh, that's funny, because he actually told me that his wife died. And then she was like, oh, so he just like killed his whole ex-wife off, basically. And I was like, yeah. So I'm guessing, he was dating her, and then I was the new girl coming in, and most likely he knew that I had boundaries, and I feel like he was just playing, and it was okay with me because I wasn't in too deep either. And I also felt like something was off about him, and even though he was extremely nice, and I realized that I manifested him. And when you manifest people that you're not supposed to have in your life, and you think that they're everything that you wanted, it comes with a price. So if I would have kept playing that game without knowing the price to that manifestation, later on down the line, if I would have found out that this acquaintance that I had, if I would have found out and I would have been too deep into the relationship, I don't know how I would have handled it. I probably would have handled it differently. I probably would have had a lot of anger in me, and then it probably would have hurt me even more, because I'm like, oh, this is someone from my past, and they did a lot of bad things to me. Like, to find out that the side chick is someone who did things to you, who pretended to be your friend, I thought that was the craziest setup, But that's what I believe about manifesting people that are not supposed to be in your life, and thinking that, oh, hey, this is everything I ever wanted. Sometimes the things that you think you want aren't the things that you really want. And when you get them, it's not what you really expect. So that's basically my whole thing with manifesting people. Even people from your past who are from the same time zone as you, but they did a lot of bad things to you, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, they changed. Maybe they have changed, but a lot of times when they've done certain things in the past, I've realized that a lot of times they'll do these things again. They don't have the mindset. They don't have the spirituality. They're not really connected. A lot of times these people aren't really connected, and you'll see that they'll just fall back into the same patterns because they're not even aware of their patterns. And even if they are aware, they don't want to change them. And if they don't want to change them, it means that everything they've been telling you is a facade, So, that's my cue on, that's my intake on, on manifesting narcissists, leaving toxic relationships. You're out there looking for them. Chances are, if you're out there looking, the narcissist will find you. I feel like love that is real, it's something that will just happen when you least expect it, and that person won't come, forward trying to love bomb you and trying to move in so quickly. I don't feel like someone that is really going to care about you and be loyal and have respect for you is just going to want you to give all of yourself all at once. The narcissist, their mission is always to have sex with you. And I already talked about sex magic. And if you guys haven't checked that out, go check out sex magic. That's the main tool that they use to trap all of their victims. It's, to them, it's like, I just need to have sex with you one time. All it takes is one time, and that's it. That the narcissist knows they have you, period. So, I hope that this message, you guys, was helpful. I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. If you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information will be on the description. Just give me about 24 hours to respond to you. And as always, I'll talk to you guys on the next podcast. Love you guys. Bye.